Members, Madam Speaker.
Fiscal removal of Mityana Municipality Member of Parliament Francis Zake from the coveted position as a Commissioner in Parliament for allegedly insulting the Deputy Speaker of Parliament Anita Among has amplified the fault lines within the opposition rank.
A complaint was raised by Honorable Mapenduzi regarding the conduct of one of our commissioners, Honorable Zake, on the social media posts that, according to Honorable Mapenduzi, undermine the integrity and the decorum of this House.
You're having a speaker who is the chief complainant, she is the judge, she is the executioner. There's a problem with that. Conflict of interest. Because she's the one presiding over, she presided over the session that ousted Honorable Zake. And she even participated in the debate many times. You know her rules don't allow a speaker to participate in debate or even to vote. But she kept debating and challenging members. For you, if they said those words against your mother, what would you say? And I said, but now, is this still the speaker or is it somebody who is aggrieved and is raising a complaint?
Section 94 of the Rules of Procedure stipulates that a parliamentary commissioner may be removed from office on grounds of incompetence, misconduct, failure or refusal without justifiable reason to execute the duties of its office. The member shall be removed upon the vote of at least half of all voting legislators.
The aye.
On Thursday evening, the House cast its vote as 155 MPs voted in favour of Zake's removal and 4 against his removal.
And Honorable Zake ceases to be a member of the Parliamentary Commission.
However, before the vote was cast, most of the opposition lawmakers walked out of the House.
There is whether we should remove Honorable Zake. You either take...
The 11th Parliament has at least 529 MPs, excluding ex-officio members. It is not clear yet whether the removal of Zake met the threshold of at least half of all voting members of Parliament.
Provide that signatures are to be collected before the Sergeant at Arms, you sign before the Sergeant at Arms. But these lists were making, rounds within the corridors of Parliament and so on. And we raised this issue on the floor. And the Speaker said, I know how these signatures were collected, so they were collected the right way. And I was baffled. I thought, wait a minute, so Madam Speaker, you also participated in collecting these signatures. I thought you're supposed to be a neutral party, and here you are. You even know how the signatures were collected as if you participated.
The single individual who is doing the exact thing all NUP MPs were voted for. There's one man. They were voted to resist it. They were voted to stand up. They were voted to turn the tables onto what has normalized as an ethical way of doing things. Yes, NUP is our version of EFF, right? So all the MPs who are voted under the NUP banner reach Parliament, they become the exact opposite of what they were. The only guy who is still carrying the reason for their being voted is Francis Zake, right? And voting him out by all those people, and neither of the NUP members causing a scene, is indicative of his success. In fact, Zake should celebrate what just happened to him. It's victory. It's victory because all NUP MPs are supposed to be in trouble every single day.
In 2014, the Constitutional Court struck down the anti-gay law which had been passed without quorum. This was not the first time an MP was accused of making disparaging remarks against the Speaker. In 2004, Lubage South MP John Ken Luchamzi accused then Speaker of Parliament Edward Sekandi of being unfit to preside over the House for allegedly taking a bribe of 5 million shillings as an inducement to lift the presidential term limit. Luchamzi later tabled a poorly drafted censure motion which was not embraced by most of the opposition lawmakers in the 7th Parliament. Isolated and dejected, Luchamzi was asked to apologize to the Speaker or face expulsion from the House.
We all probably were alive to the events of yesterday in the House.
Addressing a news conference on Friday, the leader of opposition, Matthias Impuga, said the exercise to eject Zake flouted the rules of natural justice and would be challenged in courts of law.
As far as we are concerned, remain a stream of illegalities. We are alive to the avenues through which we can restore sanity and the confidence in the House of Parliament following the mob justice of yesterday.
However, this rift that has pandered towards ethno-political alliances and exposed the north-south cleavage that may threaten the legislative agenda of the opposition.
Allow me lay on table.
These are the things which bring disrepute to this House.
The chink in the opposition's armour emerged when Gulu West MP Mapenduzi tabled a motion seeking the expulsion of Zake from the commission. So why would an independent-leaning MP who was courted by the National Unity Platform NUP party and handed a coveted role to chair a House Accountability Committee in the House spearheaded the removal of Zake?
I intend to move a motion under Section 5 of the Administration of Parliament Act for his removal from the Office of Commission of Parliament. I will also be moving to this House at an appropriate time under Rule 16 to suspend Rule 56 and Rule 110 of the Rules of Procedure. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you.
Earlier on in February, Mapenduzi, alongside the Acholi Parliamentary Group MPs, accused the leadership of NUP of fining the flames after the Speaker of Parliament was flown to the United States for treatment, which cost $500,000 to charter a 252-seater Uganda Airlines Airbus. This elicited protests from NUP supporters based in Seattle, where Olanya is being treated against the astronomical cost of treating the Speaker as hospitals in Uganda lie. Speaking to NTV, Nyakawa West MP Joel Senyonyi says the plot to kick out Zake was hatched by those who misconstrued protests against the Speaker of Parliament.
From what I could see, the protest was not so much against the person of Jacob Olanya Lokori, as it was about the principle of high government officials being flown abroad and huge sums of taxpayer money being used to treat them.
He says they will exploit avenues to resolve misunderstandings within the larger opposition. However, he argues that this must be based on principle and not nitpicking.
For leaders who operate in the same space, it's always important to connect. And we try, and that's why, for example, we have invited the Honourable Mapenduzi to come and help us understand why he's doing the things that he's doing, to understand his school of thought, you know, to hear him out, to say, wait a minute, the things that you're doing, to what end are they, in whose interest, and so on and so forth. We are hoping that he'll be able to interact with us. So interactions are important, meetings, if you like, and so on, to keep fortifying ourselves, to keep making sure we are on the same page. And that's why maybe it would have been good for these colleagues to reach out before going to the media and having outbursts.
Yusuf Serun Kuruma, a researcher and political analyst, says the current rift within the opposition is symbolic of the inter-party and intra-party conflicts across the political divide in the country.
They are speaking to national condition. It's the same with the NRM. The difference that the NRM has money, it has access to the tools of coercion.
However, he believes that Zake could emerge the victor as long as he remains beholden to the Red Beret militant activism that endeared NUP to its legions.
That is why they were voted even without knowing who they were. As long as they were NUP, they were voted not because they knew their identities. Nobody was voting for the best debater. Many best debaters were thrown out. Right? They voted men who will cause commotion. Legal commotion, parliamentary commotion. This is the reason for being voted. Okay, so the only man who is still carrying on, the reason for being voted is Francis Zake. All the others are playing politics, playing gallery politics.
Maybe it would have been good for these colleagues to reach out before going to the media and having outbursts. Now you're attacking Acholi and so on and all of that, to reach out to help them understand the situation. So without a doubt, meetings and finding ways to continuously connect is an important thing to do.
Political party is easier to deal with the Secretary General, with the spokesperson, with the chairman, with the principal, with the secretary. Those are easy to deal with because you know who to work with to kill it. But if it's amorphous, you don't know from where it is coming from. Right? This is what it meant. FDC people, I remember my friend Stella Nyanzi even knitted herself a dress which was both red and blue, right? To show that I am here, but you can't locate me as FDC, neither can you locate me as people, because I'm both and all of those things. When it organized, and the more other political parties aspire to organize, they misunderstand the context in which they are playing their politics. Well, I used to think this absolute misunderstanding, but I think now I know better. It's you're enabling your access to resources.
Sarah Nkrumah says that some NUP lawmakers appear to be shedding their identity in Parliament. However, Senyonyi says NUP continues to pursue a two-pronged approach, a legislative agenda that offers a plausible alternative policy and grassroots activism.
Activism is important and we must execute it, and you've seen us do that in Parliament. We have protested, changed attire, put on T-shirts, walked out and so on. The other day there was a real scramble as police officers were trying to confiscate our T-shirts, and MPs put up a fight and said, no, these are our T-shirts, you cannot bar us from wearing them and so on. And so we must be able to do that. That's important. Continuously, even as we engage, even on the floor, that should not stop. So you balance that with the other element to say, okay, in Parliament on the floor, let's raise matters of national importance. I'm so proud of our MPs, because every so often they're raising issues that are affecting their people back at home, whether it be famine, whether it be, roads that need to be fixed, whether it's, high commodity prices and all these different things. I'm so proud of, number one, NUP MPs, whom some people thought those are young, they are, they don't have what it takes. I see them raise all these critical issues and I'm so proud, but also especially the left side of the speaker. We have tabled several motions. There was one that eventually sailed through by our shadow local government minister, the Honorable Betty Naluima, to say, look, can devolution work in its real sense? Don't disempower local governments and keep everything at the center and then you expect them to deliver, and it sailed through. We have tabled alternative policies.
First, with the NRM juggernaut, which has a large majority of MPs, the opposition will need to hastily address squabbles and restore cohesion to be able to pick a few victories in the 11th Parliament.